What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters Allstar video, and today is officially the day for the Boss Syndrome Volume 3 launch. We are going to be sitting down and doing two videos today. This first video will be breaking down all of the events as it pertains to the June update, and then in the supplemental second part of this video, we will be going over the should you summon for both the Boss Syndrome Volume 3 characters, as well as the latest battle cards. But before we get into the events portion of this update, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe. And if you haven't already heard, we are doing a $25 Google Play or iOS gift card giveaway. Link will be in the description for all of the information on how you guys can get your hands on that gift card. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the events update. Now, as I had mentioned, this video is going to be covering all of the events with the June update, so if you guys are looking for information on the should you summon for the characters or the cards, that is going to be in the second part of this two-part video. I am uploading them at the exact same time, so if you guys are looking for that video, it should already be up at the time of you seeing this, so make sure you check that video out as well. But for those of you who want help with some of these events, or just want my opinion, well, I've got you covered, so let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start out here with the Catch the Child Thief event. Now, this is going to be with us for 15 days, and it's going to be pretty much structured as you would expect with these types of modes. So as you'll see here, these are going to be your drop rewards. You're going to get 200 AP, and you're also going to be able to get this plus capsule mystery box, as well as clearing it for the first time, getting you 5 rubies. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at this real quick, but I get the feeling that this is going to be just as easy as the rest of these types of events, and really whenever these things come around, you can just auto through these things, and I usually just recommend using your gold team. You might as well get a little bit of extra gold out of it, because usually these things are going to be pretty darn easy. In fact, I'm not even going to touch buttons, I'm just going to sit here and talk over this, but typically with these things, these are just going to be homework events. These are going to be things that are pretty inclusive to everybody, no matter where you're at in the game, so these aren't going to be anything that are too difficult, and they'll typically nab you a decent amount of gold each day, so really you can't complain about them. The main thing that most people usually have against these is they feel like they're time wasters, which, to be honest, I'm sure that's exactly what the intention is. But at the same time, you could always use a little bit of extra gold, even when you have 300 million like I do, so why not just go ahead and do it once a day, because it is a quick clear, as you'll see here. Boom, we're done. Not much issue whatsoever, even with our gold farm team, so it doesn't really matter where you're at in the game, whether you're new or you're a veteran. These things are pretty easy, and that is going to be your rewards. So looks like we're getting 5 of those capsule boxes, which is pretty nice, and a decent chunk of gold, of course using our gold farm team, so not too shabby, you guys. You can go ahead and do this thing once a day, and it's just going to be more homework. So that is going to be the Catch the Child Thief event. Not much else to talk about there. Now, next up, let's go ahead and talk about the Rush Dungeon. So this is going to be your Ness-themed Rush Dungeon for this Boss Syndrome Volume 3 event. My recommendation, if you are new to the game and have not heard this before, is always wait to use your AP to start farming on these types of dungeons until this guy here opens up, which is your final stage. This is going to be where you're going to want to dedicate your farming to. The rest of these guys, you just want to make sure that you clear daily until you can start doing this each day, and then you can start grinding and farming. But as far as what we are looking at here with Chapter 1, basically, as you can see, we are going to get that juicy 50 rubies per day for clearing this once every single day. So you guys always want to make sure that you are clearing at least at minimum Chapter 1 and the SP side whenever that opens up, so that you can get that 100 free rubies each and every single day. Now, as far as the characters and the cards this time around, you are going to want to use to fill out your teams, looking like kind of what you would expect for a Rush Dungeon based on the Ness and based on Boss Syndrome. So pretty much going to be looking at a lot of your different Boss Syndrome cards and options and sets, as well as your boss characters in general. They even throw you new players a bone and give you a couple of gold options here, so pretty nice overall. Now, as far as anything else in here, we do have an exchange shop to talk about, and it is largely going to be the same as previous ones, so not a whole lot new here to talk about. Of course, my recommendation to everyone, no matter where you're at in the game, is always going to be the rare enhancement hammers as far as prioritization, and then the rest of the stuff largely comes down to what you need on a personal basis for your account. I'm not a huge fan of these Element Best memory mystery boxes personally, mainly because I don't find them to be much of any value for the amount of coins that they are, but for some people that don't have a lot of extra memories laying around to combine to get those, you might find those to be beneficial. As far as the Plus Imprint Stone mystery boxes, these are always going to be your generic Plus Imprint Stone, so you can go for these if you are a new player and you have a hard time getting R stones, but do realize that these are going to be things that largely, outside of niche uses for certain ones, you're probably eventually just going to get rid of and replace. So these things here are okay, but again, being that they are mystery boxes, not necessarily the greatest things in the world. And the rest of this stuff, really, if it's me, I'm going for rare enhancement hammers and the Plus capsule mystery boxes, and then kind of low-key would probably take a few of these, but honestly, again, it just comes down to what it is that you need for your account. Just make sure that you're getting at least the rare enhancement hammers every single day, because those are going to refresh on a daily basis at 5 per day. So that is pretty much what you are looking at as far as your Rush Dungeon event. Not a whole lot else here to talk about. The exchange shop is pretty generic and ordinary. Not a whole lot there that we need to discuss. Now, other things to talk about. We have an Athena in Wonderland Roulette, so let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. Now, this is another event that we are also going to have for 15 days, so we will have plenty of time with this. And basically, this time around, this roulette is going to focus on Athena in Wonderland. Briefly, if you guys are new and you need a decent purple gold border character, this Athena is actually pretty darn good. I've talked about her in the past. I had actually done a series of videos breaking down gold border character recommendations for new players, and as a budget character, she is not bad. Just keep in mind that really all she is there for is to do some damage. She's a really good little budget damage dealer, but that's really about it. On the roulette itself, we are going to be looking at the standard stuff, so not a whole lot here to talk about. You can go ahead and watch these ads every day for these tickets here to get these extra spins, so that's something you'll also want to look at. Rate-wise, the rates are looking largely the same. If we go into the actual craft menu here, then we are going to see that we can craft her memories as well, so it's going to cost you 200 of her souls in order to do that, so you can of course obtain those from the roulette itself, and you can also go ahead and build up her card for 150 souls as well. So that's pretty much what you're looking at there. Another thing to keep in mind here that we are going to need to discuss in regards to this is if you go over to the event tab here, then you are going to notice that you can also get a bunch of extra tickets here for this roulette each and every day for doing these different missions. So it's looking like you'll just have to play the time attack once a day, which you'll already be doing normally anyway. Playing championship is a weird one. Most people, you know, the championship players, they'll take advantage of this, but if you're somebody that doesn't really care for championship, maybe you'll try it for the first time and find that you enjoy it by doing this. I do recommend at least trying it and seeing how you like it, even with all of the lag and the bugs. And then Soul Quest, that's something else we already do on a daily basis, so these aren't going to necessarily be things that are too difficult. At least 2 of the 3 are things that most people already do on a daily basis, or at least you should be, and if you're not, you need to start doing so, because time attack and Soul Quest are things that are definitely necessary each day to do. But overall, guys, that's what you're looking at as far as the roulette goes. Again, it's around for 15 days, and she's not a bad character if you're a new player, but if you're a veteran, this is something that really you're just going to be using for the soul dust and some of these items, and outside of that, really little else. So that is going to be your roulette. Now, we are going to move on to the part that I have been putting off. I do not want to even talk about this, but we're going to do so. This is the Carnival, and if you guys are in for wanting to rant, I'm going to rant, so here it is. Now, for those of you who are new to the game and this might be your first Carnival event, basically what you will need to know is you will need to unlock battle cards in order to achieve getting points. These points that you get are basically going to donate themselves towards your mileage, and whenever you get that corresponding amount that is below those items for the mileage, you will then unlock the items themselves. So basically what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to obtain battle cards. You can do this in a number of ways. You can do the battle card dungeon, you can exchange your battle cards, which I'm going to show you guys here in a moment. You can go ahead and summon cards, of course. You can use your tickets, so on and so forth. If you have a bunch of cards in your inventory, you can also claim those as well to get some of these points. So there's plenty of different ways that you can get the points. The problem is the amount of points necessary to get to the final reward, which is of course what everybody wants, which is this BS generic memory. These are extremely tough to come by, and unfortunately these are things that everybody needs. So the way that they have structured this, they have required 80,000 points to get to the final reward on this mileage, and we only have 4 days to do it. Are you freaking kidding me, Netmarble? So for me personally, right, it doesn't affect me, right? I can go ahead and get this done today. Not a big deal. I'll probably finish it today. But here's the problem. For new players or intermediate players, for players that have just logged into the game for the first time, this is going to be damn near impossible. And on a 4-day timer, that's absolutely ludicrous. So you're telling me basically with this carnival that they doubled the amount of points that we need basically. I don't remember exactly how much it was. It might even be more than double. They made it a battle card carnival, which is another thing that they did, which is even worse than what it was before. And then they put it on 4 days worth of time. That's absolutely ludicrous, should not be the case, makes no freaking sense, and honestly, this carnival sucks. So, to be honest with you guys, if you need some tips, of course, grind the battle card dungeon if you still have AP ready to go after everything that we just went through with that world drop event with that Leah dice game, which, by the way, that dice game was based and it was fantastic. However, when it comes to this, you are going to need to continue to grind on that battle card dungeon if you are already doing so with that event, or you're just going to need to summon on the new cards or whatever the case may be. There's plenty of ways that you can do this. Like I said, you can also go in here and you can claim cards if you have a bunch in your inventory. That's another thing that will get you some points. But one thing that will help you guys out quite a bit if you are a veteran player or you're a player that has a lot of battle cards laying around is you can go in here and you can go ahead and exchange these cards for points. So I'm going to show you guys what I mean here, and I'm going to use these set cards as an example because I actually have a perfect example right here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to exchange out 2 of these to get one of these other cards in this set, and whenever I do this, basically what you'll see here is I will go ahead, you'll see up in the top left corner, I got 3,000 points for doing that. So if we go back now and we look at our carnival, we actually now are up to 6,000 points. As you can see, I had done that once before this just to test it. So basically, this is a really good way for you guys to be able to grind these points a little bit easier and a little bit quicker, but it does require you to have a decent inventory and to have a decent amount of cards you can exchange out. So that is up to you guys and what your inventory looks like if you want to do this method. That will help you out quite a bit. Like I said, you can go over to the battle card dungeon if you want to as well. That is another option that is really good. You can go in here and you can go ahead and auto clear. In fact, I can go ahead and show you guys real quick. I'll just do a couple of these real fast and I will show you guys what that'll net me. So if we go ahead and we do that and we go back here to the carnival and we will take a look, and we got just a few points. So as you can see, doing just the battle card dungeon and things of that nature is going to be a very big grind, especially if you only have 4 days to get to 80,000 points. So my recommendation to you guys is try to look through what you have, whether it's summoning tickets for battle cards, whether it's your card inventory to see if you can exchange cards, whatever the case may be. Kind of figure out what options you have available to you and try to see if you can get yourselves to this BS generic memory, because you definitely want to have it, whether you're using it on the current batch of BS characters or a future batch or characters that you already have. So you're going to want it, but it's really unfortunate that they went ahead and did this way. Now, I guess I should probably briefly talk about some of these other rewards now that I have bitched about that enough. But basically, out of all of this stuff on here, of course the hammers are really nice. Of course we know that the BS generic memory is fantastic. But other things on here is we do have a mystery box for a plus imprint stone. Unfortunately, it's an HP stone, so rip to that. Another reason why this thing sucks. And outside of that, like I said, really the hammers are the biggest deal because this is another mystery box. So yeah, guys, just go ahead and kind of focus on getting yourselves to your BS generic memory. But again, I know a lot of people won't be able to, especially in 4 days time. So good luck to all of you. I hope you're able to do it for those of you who are going to try. So that is pretty much what there is to talk about with the Carnival. I'm going to try and spend as little time on it as possible. Otherwise, I'm just going to explode. So that is that. Now let's talk about something that doesn't suck. Let's talk about Chapter of Fight, which is honestly the biggest deal of this entire update. Now, admittedly, there's quite a bit to talk about with Chapter of Fight, being that it is a full game mode proper, so there is going to be quite a bit for us to go over in the coming days. I'm planning on doing an entire video dedicated to this newest game mode, so I'm not going to go into every little detail in today's video, nor am I going to go into a bunch of game footage. I've already done some of my battles for the day, as you can see down here on the left-hand side, but basically what you need to know about this is you are going to be able to take in a team of 3, and it's going to be best 2 out of 3. It's going to be a PvAI mode, very similar to what we saw with Rite of Passage or Infinite Battle, so on and so forth. But basically what you'll be doing here is you'll go in with a team of 3, you'll do your first 4 battles, and then every 5th battle you'll have to pick a team of 5. You'll go up against that team of 5, you win that, and then you will be able to move on to the next chapters. Now, as far as the rewards that you get for these, basically these are going to be your rewards. You're going to be able to get a bunch of different stones and different items that you will need to use in your craft menu that we'll talk about here momentarily to go ahead and craft the newest imprint stones that were added into the game. But with this, from what I can tell so far, it's not too tough, it's not too difficult. Now, you will notice that even though I've already done a bunch of these already today, that my remaining charges and challenges have now reset. So these are going to be able to reset every day, so you guys will want to make sure that you pay attention to your timers. In fact, what I'll do here is I'll go ahead and show you guys an example battle, just so you guys can see what I mean about this. But this isn't anything too difficult. It does recommend that you go ahead and try to pick specific types of fighters, as well as fighters that are going to be of a corresponding color that can take on the team that you're up against. But honestly, from what I've noticed, you can just go in with your best team and you won't have much of a problem. So really what I did is I went ahead and just picked a team of 3 characters that I knew I could trust to kind of one-tap these characters, and that's pretty much what I did. And as you can see, they fall pretty quick. Now, with these characters that you're fighting, they do scale as you go along, so they are going to get stronger as you go. But as you'll see here, these are going to be some of the rewards I got. And basically you will get additional rewards for each one of these once you get up to that 5th one. Every 5th one will be kind of a boss type fight, but really it's just a battle of another team of 5, kind of in a similar vein to what you just saw with the teams of 3. So not anything too crazy there, but really that's what you're looking at. And when you go into the craft menu, what you are going to be able to craft is going to be these new stones. Now, we do have these new moon and star stones, so this is what we are going to be able to use these items on. As you'll see here, it takes quite a few of these in order to make one of these, and they are mystery boxes, which is really unfortunate. You can't really control what you're going to get for these, but if you take a look here, the kind of interesting part of this entire situation is that they're actually going to not only have different stones that are going to be dedicated to types of dots, but also specific types of skills. So as you can see here, this one's going to be for strike skills, and it's going to increase the damage of strike skills, and it will also have ones for blast, as well as your grab skills, so on and so forth. So these are actually all going to be HP stones right now. So for this initial run of these, for their introduction. We are unfortunately only going to be able to get the HP stones. So on top of them being mystery boxes, they're also going to be mystery boxes for HP stones, but at the same time, being that these are going to be new slots, you know that they're going to add attack stones down the road, and also free stats are free stats, so if you happen to get lucky enough to get one of these stones for a character that it would make sense on that you should be building up, then it would make sense to go ahead and just attach these regardless, because you can't really scoff at free points. But as you can see here, the increase to these stats is actually pretty high. In fact, this one here at level 1 is increasing your attack type fighter's attack by 12%. So that's actually really, really good. So the buffs on these, I don't know what they max out at, obviously, because it's still too early to tell. But it's looking like the stat buffs are going to be really, really nice for these. And honestly, you guys, these are worth it right now, even as HP stones. The only issue that you're going to run into, of course, is that you're going to be having mystery boxes in order to get them. So it's going to be kind of tough to make this work. But that is pretty much what I'm seeing here right now. Like I said, you guys, that's just a brief overview. I'm going to be doing an entire video breaking this down. But for now, all you need to know is that you'll want to make sure that you're doing this every single day, and I really like this so far, the way it's structured. It's definitely a step up from the Rite of Passage, which I don't think anybody was a big fan of. But yeah, guys, pretty nice stuff overall, and it's really good to have new content in the game as opposed to just new characters. So that is going to be that. Like I said, look out for a video in the next couple of days on that chapter of Fight, but that is pretty much what there is to talk about there. The next thing that I do want to make sure that we talk about is we're going to go into the secret shop and we're going to take a look at some of these in-game shop items and some of these different shop packages, and we're going to let you guys know whether or not these are going to be worth your hard-earned money. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on these, but basically I'm just going to do it like this. As far as these first two packages are concerned, the $1.99 and $9.99 packages, if you are a dolphin and you find yourself wanting to pull on these latest Boss Syndrome fighters, again, we will have a second video today breaking those characters as well as those cards down to let you guys know whether or not they are worth it. Basically, these first two packages are really good for minnows and dolphins, so if you're somebody that finds yourself in that camp, then especially this one here is worth it. In fact, I'm probably going to pick this one up myself. But basically, you guys, those two first packages there are going to be worth it if you are going to be on a budget. If you are a person that's kind of an intermediary between the whale and the dolphin or minnow side of things, this package is a straight upgrade over both of them, because you not only get 2 of each of the fighter summons as well as the battle card summons, but you almost get an entire multi's worth of rubies as well as 100 auto clear tickets for $24.99. So if you want to spend just a little bit more, then that one is worth it as well. Whenever you get into the actual whale packages, the whale package is the same as they always are. I always recommend this one to the whales. This is a fantastic package. I know plenty of whales out there who take advantage of this. This is a really, really good package and has a ton of value if you're somebody that has the money to spend on the game. And then beyond that, the rest of these types of packages down here, I largely tell you to kind of skip on. And when it comes to these Imprint stone packages, they can sometimes be good, but they kind of tend to fluctuate the number of hammers you get with these for the $12.99 price tag, which tends to never change, but the number of hammers in here always does. It's funny how that works. But this one here, I would probably skip on. I wouldn't be spending $13 on just hammers and a few rubies, but if they would up the ante with the amount of hammers in here, that'd be one thing. Maybe up to 50 of the gold and 20 of the elite enhancement hammers, then you're talking. But for now, I don't think it's worth it. But really, guys, that is pretty much what you need to know about the packages. Now, we briefly talked about those new stones, but there is another update that came along with that stone update, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk a little bit more about the stones themselves here. But basically, this is going to be the new slots for your Imprint stones, for your star and your moon-shaped stones. So whenever you go ahead and get lucky enough to get one of those random boxes that will give you what you want, you can go ahead and attach it to the corresponding character of your choice. But the other thing that they went ahead and did here, and I'm going to show you guys this real quick. In fact, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will find a stone that we do not need. In fact, this one here we don't need, so As you can see here, we have a salvage button now. So if we go ahead and we tap on this salvage button, and we go ahead and salvage this imprint stone out, we go ahead and we get more of the items that we need to build up those stones. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm probably going to do a separate video salvaging a bunch of these stones, because I've never gotten rid of any stones whatsoever. In fact, that was the first stone I've ever gotten rid of in this game. So I have a ton of stuff I can salvage out. In fact, let's go ahead and just do this real quick and see what the difference is. Let's see. So we still end up getting a decent amount. So yeah, guys, if you go ahead and you do this, you'll probably get a decent amount. In fact, you'll probably be able to get a couple of those packages, or at least a couple of those boxes with those new stones in them. So maybe you'll get lucky. Like I said, I'm going to go through here and do this myself in my own time, and then I'll probably do a video on this topic. A lot of this stuff really requires its own video, so I am going to be doing videos over the course of the next couple of weeks, breaking all of this stuff down in depth. But over the course of the next couple of days, you guys will be seeing that. I just wanted to briefly touch on those things in today's video so you guys knew to expect that and knew that it was there. But yeah, guys, we have a salvage system now. It's actually a pretty decent one, depending on what they end up doing in the future with some of those stones, as far as adding in maybe the attack ones and so on and so forth. Then we will be able to go ahead and take advantage of this further. Maybe you're somebody that just wants to hold out for those attack type stones for these moon and the star stones. I wouldn't blame you if you just want to go ahead and sit on a bunch of these items in order to build those up later. You can go ahead and do that. But that is pretty much what we got with the update, you guys. Like I said, if you're interested in the characters and the cards and my thoughts on those, the other video in this two-part series today is already up, so you can check that one out. Otherwise, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.
Continue.